All right, guys and gals, this is kind of a little bit of extra Applebite content that we want to throw at you. It's been less than 24 hours since the pre-orders of the iPhone 10 dropped. So much stuff, so much news, and just things came out of that. So we wanted to kind of give you a little wrap up. We like to call it the aftermath of the iPhone 10 pre-orders, keeping it with the Applebite family. So what I wanted to first talk about, right? Let's talk about the winners and the losers of the pre-order night. Now, first of all, the winners has to be the carrier sites. We're talking about Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. When I was on Twitter and I was just waiting for my apps, we know that historically, the Apple Store app has been the best and easiest way to get any Apple pre-order on launch. Well, that wasn't the case at all. In fact, it was probably the worst option to do this time around, and the carrier sites were the winners. We know that Verizon opened their store like 5 to 10 minutes before the 12:01 midnight time. And so everyone that was on Verizon was flooding them. I got all these messages like, I got mine on November 3rd. I got mine. Like, everyone is happy that went through the carrier sites. Now, what I did is strategically, I had web browser on the Apple Store. I had a web browser on AT&T, and then I had my devices using the Apple Store app. The thing about it is the Apple Store app on my devices didn't even turn over after 15, 20 minutes. I quit them, force quit them. I refreshed them. The Apple Store app just didn't work and seemed to be, in most cases, for most people, the last thing that flipped over. I know there were plenty of people that said, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how lucky I was. Like, I just got through the Apple Store app right away. But that wasn't the case for everyone. So without a doubt, the winners were, if you went directly through a carrier site, most of those people were the winners of the iPhone 10 pre-order. Now, we talk about losers. Yeah, it's got to be people that did the Apple Store app, where just 10 minutes, and we knew this thing was going to be super hard to get, 10 minutes into the pre-order. If you didn't get in front of those 10 minutes, you are instantly going to get an iPhone 10 pre-order that said delivery time of 2 to 3 weeks. If you were after 30 minutes, the delivery times that most people said they were getting was 4 to 5 weeks. And then let's not even talk about if you're here in the US, fine. That's how long out you would get your phone. At least you got one. If you're in the UK and Australia, the wait time was 5 to 6 weeks. Weeks, my friends. Like, that's a long time. So I told you, everyone was saying, oh, you're trying to hype this up. This is going to be shorts. This was the hardest iPhone to get on launch day. A lot of people, though, that did get through the system, some of the winners were also people that chose to pick up their phone in store. Some of those people were able to actually expedite their time that might have said 2 to 3 weeks, pick up an option in store. So it really looks like, to me, Apple is trying to supply the physical Apple retail stores and the physical carrier stores first, and then online orders this time around kind of took second. So there's a whole bunch of different experiences. Some people even had messages that said, call us back. We have your order number, but you need to complete the order later. I was just lucky enough. I got into AT&T's website. And so first of all, my very first order that I did, got it through one of my web browsers on the Apple Store app, turned over like 8 to 10 minutes later. I got a phone that's out 2 to 3 weeks, but I'm like, this has got to be better. So because I had launched all these browsers, the AT&T store put me in a queue, and I was waiting for around 15, 20 minutes. But once I got in, they gave me the option to get an Apple iPhone on November the 3rd. So I pushed through that, and we'll see what happens, which phone gets here first. But I was able to seal an iPhone 10, 256 gigs. We'll talk about that in a second, through AT&T on November 3rd, 20 minutes after the time. So we'll see what gets delivered and how that plays out. I know we have so many experiences. I want to see and read about your experiences. If you just put some comments down here on the YouTubes, or if you want to tweet us or email us, at Brian Tong is my Twitter. The Applebite at CNET.com is where you can send us your email responses. We want to know like what your situation was like. But then it also, I think that you come out of this, you get all involved in the hype and it's all exciting, and you come back the next morning. And I don't know about you, but when I had to look at that price point of like over $1,000, and let's be real, Apple didn't offer a 128 gig option, and instead knew that most people that take a lot of pictures and photos were going to force themselves to jump up to the 256 gig storage model and charge an additional $150. Look, they're running a business, and we choose to buy that or not. But I thought that to me, that's a bad Apple right there. Like, just knowing like they could have just put 128 in the entry level. They could have. It would have cost them little to nothing, but they didn't. They're like, no, we're going to push you higher. To me, making that option, I know a lot of people that once they saw that 256 gig price point, they said, you know what, I'm walking away from this. They're probably smarter than all of us. They walked away from paying for an iPhone that much just to get that extra storage. But like I said, we were waking up this morning. I think, some perspective here is important. I talk about this all the time, but we're so blessed and lucky to be able to buy a phone like this. And you can have the argument that your phone is now your computer. It does a lot of things that your computer can or can't do, and your computer does more. But I think personally, I felt icky. I felt kind of gross seeing a $111.49 price point on a phone plus tax. And I did buy it. I bought it for the show. I am an Apple fan. I'm a tech fan. And I bought it, but I still felt gross about it. Like, I felt icky about it. And I think part of it is also, when you put this in a perspective, like, think about, and I'm not trying to be like, hey, everyone, you should feel bad about your purchase, because a lot of you don't. But think about everything that has been going on around in this world lately with the natural disasters, the attacks, and you're like, I'm dropping $1,000 on a phone. Like, that just didn't sit right. And I know that maybe this is just me speaking, but I know that there's other people that feel this way. And I just think about, like, how much more does this $1,000 phone really do compared to the phone that we have today? Like, it's going to look awesome. That's great. But how much does it really, really do to warrant that price? And, you have to think about both sides of the coin. The fact that I know many people who are tech diehards that looked at that price and walked away tells me something. And it speaks to me. And so I just wanted to offer perspective. People that want to say, like, oh, if you want the phone, you can afford it. That's fine. You can pay whatever you want. I'm never telling you how to spend your money. But I know there's a lot of people out there as well, including me, that just felt, maybe it's just my mood today, but just felt a little icky and gross about buying the iPhone 10 and just dropping that much money. It just didn't sit that right with me. So, you know what? We'd love to hear your comments. We just wanted to kind of talk about what happened. The iPhone 10 pre-order was as difficult as I thought it would be. I didn't hype beast it up. Like, it really delivered on all the, the scarcity of it, how hard it's going to be. There's people that are now pre-ordering the next day, and it's saying their orders are going to come sometime in December. So for all of you that got an iPhone 10, that got the pre-order, congratulations. I mean, it's fun and it's exciting, but also, like, just, we got to think about the bigger picture of how lucky we are to be like, yeah, I just dropped $1,000 on the phone. It's wild. So anyways, we'll be back with next week with obviously all new show content, talking about everything Apple. We will also get some inline interviews. We're going to go out to the stores and see what happens on November the 3rd for pickup day. So other than that, we'll see you guys next time. A little bit of Apple bits to the Apple bite. You know how it is. Brian Tong here. Take care. Be safe. Peace.